Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.
What's happening? How y'all doing? So check this out. I'm gonna make this short and sweet. I was thinking about this while I was at the gym, and I was just reflecting, right? And I was just thinking, like, the things that I have been blessed with now, had I would have received it, let's say 6 years ago, I probably would, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't prepared for it. I wasn't prepared for the blessings that I have today. And the reason why I say that is a lot of times, you could be praying for something, but the simple fact that you have not received what you have prayed for is God's way of protecting you. You see, a lot of times the things that you want, you don't have the capacity to be able to hold, to be able to maintain, right? And the other side of that is sometimes you have to go through things, right, to understand what it is to appreciate the very things that you're praying for. You see, back in the day, I was a lot different mentally. You know what I'm saying? I was just a lot different. I was the type of person, and I've said this many a times, right? I was Mr. Petty, Mr. Get Back. There was nothing that you was going to do to me that I was not going to do back to you tenfold. You know what I mean? Like, and I prided myself on that. You push me, I'm going to try to knock your head off. That's just how I was. But back then, I felt and I wore that as a badge of honor. I wore that as, okay, you ain't gonna say nothing, right? I don't care if you was nobody within my circle. If you said something to me, I was gonna address it. We fast forward now, I understand things way better. And some of the things that I was praying for back then that I have received now, I would not have been able to maintain it. You see, what I have learned now is that I don't answer to everything. I thank God for having the discernment to understand, you know what I'm saying, a lot of things. But, one of the biggest things that I have learned is that the truth will always outlast a lie. And I say that all the time. The truth will always outlast a lie. And in my previous, life, I would try to defend myself about a lot of things, right? And I know many other people have, this issue too. Somebody go on social media, say something about you, or somebody talking about you, this, that, and the other, right? But it's a lie. What's the first thing that you're going to do? You got to run to social media and you got to prove to, nah, they lying, this, that, and other. But what I have learned is I don't have to be chasing no lie. There's nothing that you can say about me that I don't know about me. And I try to teach this to, my youngest son, right? He'll tell me something, well, somebody said this and I got mad, this, and that. And I said, well, is it true? And he's like, no. And I said, so what are you upset for? And I kind of laughed to myself because I remember one time, this was back in the day, I had got in trouble on the bus. I think I got kicked off the bus. And it was for fighting, right? And I remember my grandfather came up to the school and he's like, well, what happened, whatever. So I told him, I said, well, such and such said such and such and such and such. And my grandfather looked me in the face. He said, well, is it true? I said, well, nah. Then he said, so what's the problem? And I didn't understand it now. 40-something years later, I'm saying the same thing to my youngest, right? But it reigns true. A lot of the things that you are upset about, or you find yourself upset about, or you find yourself responding to, in the big scheme of things, when you really sit back and you look at it, you like, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. And a lot of times when you get wrapped up in trying to prove to people that don't care anyway. See, a lot of people want to think the worst of you because in a weird way, it makes themselves feel better. In a weird way, it makes whoever is with them feel better, right? But a lot of the times you're spending addressing that, you're just prolonging your blessings. And the biggest thing that I'm happy for, and one of the biggest accomplishments that I have in my life, was that my grandparents got to see me in every phase of my life. They got to see me when I was messing up. They got to see me, but they got to see me do good. And that's one of the things that I hold on to. I miss him every day. I cried, you know what I'm saying, on Father's Day, and I don't even know. It just came up over me, right? So I miss him every single day. But a lot of times when I cry, it's tears of joy because they got to see me. They got to see me actually do good. I had, you know what I'm saying, I had those nights to when my grandmother would call me. And, you know, it might be late at night and she just wanted to talk. And she would say, hey, little Rodney, you know, you sleep? And, you know, I look at the time and it's 11 o'clock at night or whatever. And I was asleep. But when my grandmother called, everything stops, right? And she would just talk to me. And we would just talk and we would just laugh and this, that, and other. And I think back to, you know, when I was younger, that was me. I would call sometimes and just be like, hey, ma, you know, I ain't, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 right? And I'm going to say this, I'm going to get out your space, right? So it was I had two, you know what I'm saying, different viewpoints. When I would call my grandfather and I'm upset, my grandfather is going to have a Bible verse for that, you know what I'm saying, situation. And he's going to talk to me and he's going to tell me, you know, hey, you know, you got to be better, this, that, and other. When I would call my grandma didn't play about me. So when I call my grandmother and I'm upset, she's upset. If I tell her like, man, I just want to just punch this, that, and other, my grandmother she was right there with me. You know what I'm saying? So I had both. I had the yin and the yang. And, you know, my grandfather, you know, he battled with dementia. And I just remember this one particular moment, right? I had came home and this is when, you know what I'm saying, I start to notice or whatever. And we were driving and, you know, he was just, you know, he was discombobulated. And I remembered in that moment, I knew that we were going in the wrong direction. But the amount of respect that I still have for him, always have for him, I didn't say nothing. I kept asking him, like, are you sure we're supposed to be going this way? He said, yeah, you know, going over this way, going there. You know, he was just telling me, right? But I had so much respect for him, so much respect that I didn't say nothing. And we took the long way, you know, a 15-minute drive turned into about almost 40 minutes, right? But I respected him so much that I just didn't say nothing. And I say that to say this, to summarize all of this stuff. Had I not had been through what I had been through, I would not be able to have those moments and understand those moments. You know, growing up, I couldn't spend a night at nobody's house, right? And there was reasons for that, right? And in those moments, I went from that being upset because all my friends got to stay the night, you know what I'm saying, this, that, and the other, right? To becoming a parent and understanding. I couldn't stay out, you know what I'm saying, during the school week, all times of the night like other people were able to. And I was upset. And then I had kids and I understood. So I'm blessed today because I listened. I listened. And for anybody out there right now that find themselves in a position that you think that like, man, this thing ain't gonna happen. Man, this thing ain't gonna happen. Man, just take a moment and look at yourself and say, well, what you're praying for, do you have the capacity for it? I've said this in so many videos. You're praying to win the lottery, but you do not have a track record of being able to handle what you have now. You want a promotion and you've been praying for a promotion and it hasn't came yet, but that promotion you're not ready for because you can't even get to work on time now. You don't want to make the sacrifices for the payday. And it's not just materialistic stuff. You're going to have moments to where, guess what? You can be in a situation and you can know you right, but in that moment, you just shut up. You just shut up. You know you're right, but you're just quiet. You're making the sacrifice and just saying, you know what? I'm not going to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that's where if you're not to that point yet, you're not ready for what you've been praying for. If right now, there's somebody out there right now that's praying for something, but deep down inside, you know that you're not ready. You know that you're not ready. and you know that you're not ready and you're doing nothing to prepare. So when you go to pray for these things and this, that, and the other, look at your life. Is it adding up to what you want? Are you the type of person that you would bless you? And only you can answer those questions. So anyways, man, I thank y'all. I just wanted to get that on because I was in the gym and I do a lot of my thinking at the gym. And I'm at the gym and I'm working out and it was just like something came over me that I looked at myself in the mirror. Like, I'm not one of those guys that be in the gym. I got my tank top on. I'm trying to show off this, that, and other. I'm not one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day I used to be, but now I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of those guys, right? I just want to get in there and I just do the work. But this particular day, I caught a glimpse of myself in the mirror. And I'm not even talking about from the physical. I just looked at myself in the mirror and I love what I am becoming. I love it. And for you, if you find yourself looking into the mirror and loving that you're becoming, guess what? You are opening the door for the blessings. You are opening the door for the blessings because you like but you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Only you know you. And you know if the things that you want, you're aligned to receive. So anyways, man, I thank y'all. I hope y'all have a great day.
Hey, let's talk about it, cause honestly we need to talk about social issues, just uplifting my people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Come join the conversation. A connection's what we're creating. Yeah.